Welcome back again. So, it's still winter, it's still cold. We had a nice storm last night. We had about a half an inch of ice everywhere. But it melted overnight. So, as you know from the last episode, we're all done with the cage, thank God. We got the door in, all that. And now we're putting in the fencing, the mesh. And there's no book for that, so we'll have to kind of figure it out on our own. But I think we're doing okay. We've gotten the bottom piece done most of the way around. I don't know if the camera can capture it, but it's all done all the way around up until the other end. We haven't done the door side yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming along. This side here, we still need to stretch it. It's not even connected. It's just lying here. But once you connect it and stretch it, it looks very nice. And if we come across to this end here, I think Jason can probably shoot straight down the fence, and you can see that it's nice and taut and straight and smooth, which is nice. So that's coming along. Now, of course, we did the easy part first, right? We got to do it up there.
Yeah.
I have no idea how we're going to do that. It's problematic, and I'll tell you why. The fence is very heavy. When you're dealing with very long, it's 50 feet over that side and 30 feet on this side. So when you're dealing with big pieces of fence like that, even though it's thin fence, it's very heavy. So now we have to get it up in the air, and then we have to stretch it. Now, the way we've been doing the stretching is with a piece of wood with bolts through it, and you use it come along and you stretch it. And that's fine when you're working on flat surfaces, but up there, the wall's are round. So I'm not quite sure how we're going to do that. Then there's the problem of the top versus the end walls, right? If we were to do the tops first, which would be the easiest way to do the tops, to hang them over the edge, tie them, and then pull them, we wouldn't be able to do the end walls unless we went to the outside with a scaffolding, and we can't get our scaffolding on the outside. We don't have enough room, and the ground isn't straight, and I don't want to get killed falling off the scaffolding, So the other option is to do the end walls first, and then somehow still figure out how to hook up the tops and be able to stretch them. I'm not sure how we're going to do that. Jason came up with a good idea, actually. He said, why don't we take some rope and tie it at different intervals to the fencing material, and then pull it up and tie it, so that at least we're not trying to hold this heavy fencing material in the air. And that might help, that might work, so we'll give that a try. But anyway, that's where we are now. We are trying to do the mesh. Now, the bad part is that we don't know how to do it. It's a hard job, and it's a lot of it. The good part is, the mesh is the last hard job. We get past this, and we're going to be in reasonably decent shape, right? Because after this, we have things like building the planters. No big deal, just time consuming, but no big deal. And, filling them with earth and, compost and all that. Again, no big deal. Watering systems, we have an irrigation guy, he's going to do a lot of the work, but we'll have to do some ourselves. But still, you're dealing with little hoses and connectors, You're not dealing with, things that weigh hundreds of pounds and can fall down and hurt you, So if we get past this job, we'll be there. Now, once we get the whole thing covered in the mesh, we will still have to come along and put a second layer of mesh on the bottom. You can see, we're not attached here yet, but even if we were, there's a clearing on the bottom. So what happens is, there's going to be an area on the bottom here, which is about I would say about 1.5 feet or 2 feet high. And then it's an L, so it goes down to the concrete and jets out as an L. And that's only going to be 1/4 inch mesh, very tiny spaces, so small rodents can't get in. And then that part of the L will actually get bolted down with metal strapping, bolted down to the concrete so nothing can get underneath it. So that's still another job that's time consuming that will have to be done after the big mesh is done. But if we get past all that, and we will eventually, then we're down to things that are easier to do. And that's a good thing, because the garage building is over there. We need to start getting inside there and doing some work. It needs a lot of work in there. So anyway, that's where we are. We're going to try and do the rest of the fencing on that end wall this morning, and still try to get back inside to watch the Formula One race. And we'll keep shooting video. So I'll see what happens. So we're still out here. We're trying to get this fence up, this mesh, as I call it. But it's been slow going. Been delayed by illness and weather and other projects. We got the garage building up. That's a whole other saga that we'll cover during one of the garage videos. But I was sick for a while. I had pneumonia or something. They had me on antibiotics and steroids and all kinds of stuff. But we got some of it up. This was up the last time you looked, but we got some on that end wall. And then on this side, we have been able to, I know you can't see it, and there's ice here, so Jason, please be careful. But this wall is actually completely done all the way to the top. What's good about the fence is that you really cannot see it. It's very hard to see it at 20 feet away. It's been miserable with the weather. We had a snowstorm yesterday, so we had to wait this morning until things melted a little bit. It's still cold out here. It's 26 degrees right now. It's freezing. But we're going to try, if we don't end up falling on this ice and killing ourselves, we're going to try and at least finish this end wall today on this end. And hopefully the weather gets better. And then we'll be able to do the top. The top is going to prove to be problematic. We're not quite sure how we're going to do it yet because it's very long, right? So we're dealing with very long pieces, 50-foot pieces of fencing. And they're heavy. And they want to fall off, and we have to stretch them, and the top is curved. I mean, there's a lot of complication involved. You're 17 feet up in the air, you know? So I'm not quite sure how we're going to do it. Well, I mean, we'll do it, but it's going to be another comedy, I'm sure. But hopefully we get that done, because if we could just get that done, we'd be done with our hard jobs. So we'll see what happens, but we'll put down some more mesh, and I'll let you know how it turns out in the end. Bye. We got some snow. At the peak yesterday, we had about 2 feet of snow. So look, the trees are all bent. It's been melting all along. It was actually melting as it was coming down yesterday. But yeah, so another delay. We keep getting delayed, unfortunately. It's very hard to catch up. Every time we think we're catching up a little bit, something delays us, you know. And it's not just the weather, you know, injuries delay us. I was sick for a while. I had pneumonia or something. I don't know. So that delayed us. You know, right now I wanted to go and show you what a mesh and garden look like, but I can't get through it. See, I'm not climbing inside of that. I have to go to work. You know, we have personal commitments. You know, we have careers. We have family that deserves some of our attention. Yeah. That's what it looks like, and we're going to need a little help here to see if some of this stuff melts. And maybe we can try again and see if we can get caught up. We keep getting pushed behind, but we'll try. Maybe we'll still plant some vegetables this year. We'll see. Well, we're back again. We're trying. Not easy. We've been delayed by snowstorms, ice storms, you name it. Even today, right now, it's nice and sunny out here, but it's 27 degrees. But at least it's not raining, it's not ice storming, snow's melted. So we're going to try and get the rest of this mesh up. We've been delayed, and we don't know how to do it anyway. But we're going to try. We got the other side mostly up. We're going to try and get this side, and then the roof ridge, that's the hardest part. If we can get to that part, then we can start putting in planters and you know, hopefully at some point fill them with some soil and get something in the ground. It's hard because there's already stuff going in the ground, and we're running so far behind. We never had a chance to do a garden plan or anything like that. But anyway, we're going to try and put some of this mesh up and see if we can capture some of that video. So, you know, we'll see what happens. Hopefully only good things. Let's see what we can do. All right. Okay. All right. So you grab those two together, I'll grab these, and let's pull gently. Let's try to go together so we don't kink it.
Okay, let me go get the other one. Okay.
Okay. Nice and slow. Hey, you're going way ahead of me.
I am? Looks in line of me.
Hang on, hang on. Okay, I don't know about you, but I'm stuck on that corner there. So walk towards me and give me your ropes and go unstick that corner.
Okay.
So we don't get it all kinked up. This really requires a third person, you know?
Yeah.
We constantly suffer from missing a third person, but what are you going to do? All right?
Okay, should be unstuck now.
All right. It was like when we watched those other guys put up those hoops for the garage. That third person makes all the difference. No, other side.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's very hard for us. It's getting all kinked up. I don't know how to get it up here.
End stuck. There we go.
Get that ladder on this end. See if we can get this one over this edge. You gotta get closer to the job.
Yep.
And watch that extension cord.
Straight.
Okay.
Go. Right.
And then go get the gun, put a battery on it.
Right. You also need the pliers, right?
Yep. So we did it. We have a fence material. It wasn't too bad, but it was hard work. You know, these pieces of fence, they're 50 feet long, 6 feet wide, so they get kind of heavy when you're trying to pull them up. But we did it. It wasn't too bad. The hardest part was the weather and, you know, illnesses and rainstorms, ice storms, snow, all on weekends, of course. So it was very difficult, but we have the fence mostly up. Not entirely. Jason still has to go around clipping the overlaps so they can't crawl underneath. And then we'll have to do the, on the bottom here, there's like a 2-foot piece that's only a 1/4 inch mesh that's going to go in. But we're going to pause on the fence for now because there's nothing here for them to eat anyway. And we're going to hop on to building the planters because if we don't get these planters filled with soil right now, we're going to have no garden for the year. So that's what happens next. So here's how we're looking to approach it.
Okay.
So we have these tarps here on the floor so we can assemble the planters on them. And the reason for that is, you know, we're on concrete and the planters scratch really easy. I mean, you look at them wrong, they scratch. So we're going to build them on here. And so the idea is to start putting them down the sides and then hopefully be able to get the Kubota in here loaded with gravel and soil and all that, topsoil, and fill them one at a time. And then if we can get them in here, then we can get the irrigation guy to come in and start doing the irrigation system. I'm not, you know, sure whether we're going to be able to or not, but, you know, we're trying desperately to somehow still have some kind of garden this year. Now, it's not going to be a garden like it should be, right? We didn't get a chance in the winter to make a garden plan. We didn't get a chance to grow any seedlings. We did grow actually a couple of small seedlings from these pimentos that we brought from Portugal, and they're really delicious. And we've been sort of growing a plant or two every year for a few years now, trying to preserve it so that we would have seeds for the following year. And so we have those. But so this year we're probably just going to, well, we're going to have to go out to some nurseries and get some seedlings and put them in. And we're going to use this year as a test year, right? Testing the cameras and the watering system and the fertilizing system and the computers and the security system. Make sure we have a new slogan, by the way, no stinking squirrels, okay? So, you know, make sure that nobody can get in here. So next we'll turn our attention to the planters, and hopefully that goes well. That shouldn't be difficult. We should be done with the hard jobs. They're just boring, long jobs now. So we'll build some planters, and then we'll come back and show you what we've done. Cha-cha.